Hello and welcome back. This is Handmade Originals. I can just about get my head in this hole. Actually this is really heavy. Well, hi there. I'm in London, we're in lockdown, well, tier 4, all going a bit stir crazy, and this has been a completely bonkers year. Like many of you, for want of something to do, I've been clearing out my closet, my house, my garage. In the process of clearing out my closet, I come across this dress, which actually I have to say, I love the fabric of, but I'm not so struck by the style. I've decided, because I love the fabric, that I'm going to redesign it so that I will actually wear it. So step 1, take the skirt off. Thank goodness I'm wearing jeans. Right, so the skirt has gone. The next thing I'm going to do, this was quite a fitted dress, so I've undone the side seams and I'm going to insert, I don't know if you can see here, a triangle like this in here to give it more movement, and then I'm going to use fabric from the skirt to add a piece around the bottom here so that it ends up being a floaty, I think they call them a swing top. Anyway, watch this space, let's see what happens. Just in case you weren't able to follow what I was talking about when I was wearing the top half of this dress, let me explain hopefully a bit more clearly. This is the side seam which I've opened up like this, and I've cut a triangle from the skirt fabric, and I'm going to insert that triangle in here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now whenever you're inserting to a point, as I'm doing here, this is the underarm, it's very difficult to do it under a machine. So in this case I'm going to tack, or what the Americans call baste, hand sewing up here in a brightly coloured thread so I can see exactly what I should be doing with the sewing machine before I do it. Otherwise it's quite easy to just get in a bit of a knit knot up here. That's a technical term for you. Anyway, I love the fabric of this dress, which is why I'm keeping it, and this is also a beautifully made dress. This is a vintage dress actually. It's by Jean Bailey, or because it's Parisian, I guess it's Jean B. But anyway, it's a beautiful fabric which you will not see anywhere else, so, but strangely contemporary, so that's why I'm going to take the time to do this properly, and I'll show you again once I've got these triangles here sewn in, and then I need to work out how to do a band across the bottom. With all this pattern, this might be difficult to see, but I hope you can see here I've basted with orange thread, and the reason I've done this is because when it's black and white particularly, it's very difficult to see what the heck you're doing. So this is also quite flimsy material, so firstly this keeps this still, keeps it in one place, so it's easier to sew. And also when you're sewing up to a point and you're attaching different seams, it's very difficult to turn. So what I've done here is, after I've basted, I've stitched on my machine from here up to the point, and I've done the same thing on this side up to the point, so I don't actually have to turn and then deal with all of these seams here. Right, turning this over, this is the front. I've done the buttons up. This is the bottom of the top of the dress, and here you can see that I just took a guesstimate at the size of the triangles to put in, so this actually needs trimming down so that it lines up here. What I suggest you do is, if you just measure down from the underarm to roughly where you want it to go, so I'm saying that's roughly 19 centimetres, and then you can do the same on the other side and then cut it. And then we need to work out how deep we want the band to be that's going to go round here. So first of all I'm going to cut this off. Right, I've cut this off, so I now have this very short top, all the same length. Now the joy of upcycling is you can change whatever suits you and stop whenever it suits you. So if you like to have a short top, you could just hem that, or you could put a black ribbon around the bottom of it and keep it at that length. I want it to be longer, so I'm going to add a piece of the skirt, which I'm going to cut off in a minute, onto this bit here, and I think I'm probably going to add about 10 centimetres. And here it is, finished, or nearly finished if you want to decorate it. And that, as I mentioned earlier, is part of the joy of upcycling. You can literally, once you've changed the general basic shape of whatever it is you're making or rearranging, you can decorate it in whatever style suits you. Initially, I was thinking I was going to add a ribbon here, going a black ribbon to cover the seam that went round. Then I got a bit carried away thinking, well actually if I'm going to put one on, why not put three? I don't know if you can see this very narrow one here. But my advice is whatever you're going to do it boldly so that it looks deliberate. Having put it together though, I then rethought it because I thought actually this is such a busy pattern, you can't really see the seam going across, actually comes down here. So I think I might leave mine plain so that it's just like that, but I'll wear it, see how it goes. Alternatively, and here's another thought, so here's a little bit of history from me. My grandmother used to be a lady's maid much in the manner of Anna in Downton Abbey, and she was also a trained seamstress. So she used to make lots of very fancy clothes for lots of very fancy ladies going to court balls and such like. So when she died, I inherited quite a lot of her little fancy bits and bobs, and this is a collar which she gave me, which is beautifully lacy and which you could attach if you wanted to, or you could cut a collar off something else that you quite like that you're not using. So that could go on there. I think that's a bit too frilly for me, but if that's what you like, do what you like. And that's the whole dream of upcycling, is that you can make items totally unique to you. Nobody else ever on the planet will be wearing this. And so let your imagination run wild. Before you go, last bit of shameless self-promotion, I've written a book. I used to work in costumes for about, 10, 15 years, and I've written a book about my experiences. I'll show you here. Starting out as a volunteer mum at my daughter's school and ending up as a professional costumier working for an opera and theatre companies. And this book starts at the beginning as an amateur and tells you how I turned into a professional. It has hundreds of photographs telling you what I did on 10 different productions and how I did it. Hopefully anyone who's interested in costumes will find it really interesting, because the one thing I did, which I don't think a lot of people do when they're just working ordinarily, is I took lots of photographs of my work in progress, so you can see in each production, A, how I progressed as a costumier, but secondly, the different methods I used, and I have to say, because I'm not a trained costumier, I just largely had a go at all the different things I was asked to do. So in here you've got costumes, you've got necklaces, you've got headdresses, you've got corsets, you've got animal heads, all sorts of things, and wings. So if you're at all interested in costume, I'm going to put the link on Amazon down below. Don't feel obliged to buy it, of course you don't. Have a look, let me know what you think. And also, finally, this is the scrap of material I've got left over from this shirt. And I do so love this, and I was thinking, well, I could throw that away, or I could just scrunch it up and turn it into sort of like a little flower or something, and I could see that on a lapel somewhere. So if you're interested in something like that, and something obviously a bit better than that, let me know down below and I will come up with a video showing you how to make a flower out of that. I'm thinking for an old pair of tights, make a black centre or something to make it quite dramatic on a dark jacket. Anyway, it's been fun. I hope this has inspired you, given you lots of ideas about different things you can do, and more importantly, it's saved an old dress which was just sitting in the cupboard doing nothing, which nobody wanted and was unloved, and it's transformed it into something which will get worn, and I think I'll probably wear this quite a lot. I'll see you next time. I could sit here all day.